Hi, I'm Dr. Laubal from Back to Health, and in this video, we're doing a stretching routine to loosen up your tight lower back. This routine is best for patients that are dealing with mild to moderate levels of back pain and really any level of stiffness or tightness. In the beginning, when you first start doing this, you may find that some of the exercises are impossible for you to do. That's okay. Just stick with the ones that you can do. And remember, consistency is key. If you stick with doing this exercise routine on a somewhat frequent basis, you'll come to find that you gain back a lot of that lost mobility. So let's get down to stretching out that spine. Hello everyone. For this routine, all we're going to need is a yoga mat, and I also recommend grabbing a bath towel, folding it over a few times. We'll use that for some extra padding underneath our knees later in the routine. Before we get going here, let's just go ahead and sit cross-legged. Take a couple of real deep breaths. Let's just clear our minds and get rid of all of our thoughts of the things we have to do, the busy day ahead of us, all the things going on in life. Let's just take 20 minutes for ourselves for some self-care here, because we deserve it. Let's start by laying on our backs. We'll go ahead and roll over, keep our knees bent. We're going to start out with what's called pelvic tilting. So what we're going to do is just rock the hips here. We're going to rock the hips back, flattening our lower back against the mat and holding for 2 to 3 seconds. And then we're going to rock the hips the other direction, pushing our tailbone into the mat and putting a little bit of an arch in our lower back. Rock back to flat back. We're not really lifting the pelvis off the ground here. These are very small movements, just a few inches in each direction. The important thing is that we contract and we hold for a 2 to 3 second count each direction. Let's drive that tailbone into the mat, put an arch in your lower back, and hold, hold, hold. Good. Flatten the back, push that back into the mat, and then do another arch. Flatten the back, contract the glutes a little bit here. These pelvic tilts are a great way to warm your lower back up. You can do them first thing in the morning in bed before you even get onto the ground. We're going to move on with a knee to chest stretch. We're just going to go ahead and pull that left knee up to our chest. As soon as you feel that glute starting to soften for you a little bit, just give a little extra pull on that knee. Make sure you feel a nice stretch. Go ahead and use the right hand and pull that left knee up to your right shoulder. So you'll feel this stretch a little bit more on the outside of the hip. You might feel a little bit of a pinching in your groin with this. As long as it's mild, it's okay. And we're going to do the same thing over on the right leg. Bring that right knee straight up into the chest. Again, as soon as you feel the glute soften, give a little extra stretching pull there. Good. Same thing on this side. We're going to use the left hand to pull that right knee up to our left shoulder. You'll feel this a little more on the outside of your right hip. The next move we're going to do is called a double knee to chest. So we're just going to go ahead and reach up and give ourselves a hug our knees in. You may feel when you get into this position, the glutes start to loosen up, and we can pull a little bit tighter with our knees to our chest. I like to rock back and forth just a little bit. should really feel this in your lower back. You can even do some deep pulsing here. Pulling those knees and relaxing a little bit, just introducing some movement into our lower back. We're going to drop both of our feet back down onto the ground, keeping our knees bent. We're going to go to a side lying twist. Good. Let the knees fall off to the left as we look off to the right and extend our right arm out. You should feel this all the way up your torso, really stretching out the lower back and the obliques. Go ahead and return to neutral. We're going to do the same thing off to the other direction. Let those knees kind of fall off to the right as we look off to the left and extend our left arm out. Really focus in on your breathing. Nice deep breaths. Think about every fiber in your lower back just relaxing. Stretching. See if you can increase the twist a little bit. We're going to bring our feet back up to neutral. We'll separate our feet and step them out towards the edge of our mat. Next thing we're going to do is we're going to do some windshield wipers. Windshield wipers are great for building on that rotational component we just did with the lying twist. They also kind of open up our hip sockets a little bit. So you may feel this one in your hips, maybe in your groin a little bit. You don't have to take the knees all the way down, just as far as you can till you feel like you're getting some movement. The next thing we're going to do is called Piriformis stretch. We're going to cross our right ankle over our left leg. For many of you, this will give you just enough stretch being right here just like this. However, if you want more, go ahead and step that left leg closer. And even more, you can reach up and grab the back of that left leg. Ultimately, if you feel like you can do it, reach around the outside of your left knee to give the deepest stretch possible, pulling that left knee up to your chest. You really should feel this on the back side of your right leg, real deep in your glutes. You may have some pinching pain in your right groin. As long as it's minor, it's totally fine. It's a great stretch to hold. Let's go ahead and do the other side. We'll bring that left leg up, cross it over our right leg. Again, this may be all you need to feel that stretch in the backside of your left glutes. If not, step the foot a little closer. Reach behind that right leg. And then finally, pull that knee all the way up to your chest. You should really feel this on your backside, pulling on the back of that hip. Work to whatever level you feel like you can do with this particular stretch. This one can be a little difficult. Again, if you have some groin pain, maybe a little bit of a pinching sensation in the left groin, that's okay as long as it's mild. Really breathe with this one. Feel that glute loosening up, that piriformis muscle letting loose. The next thing we're going to do is we're going to roll over onto our stomach. We want to avoid doing a sit-up here. So we're going to roll onto our side and sit up that way. We don't want to do any crunching movements. And we'll get over onto our stomach. The next move we're going to do is called the Sphinx or cobra. Here's the Sphinx. We're just going to put some extension in our lower back. Really try to get our head out of our shoulders. And if you feel like you can do it, try to push yourself up into a cobra position. This should feel like a nice stretch into your abdomen, really keeping your pelvis down onto the mat. We don't want our pelvis coming up off the table or off the mat. Try to hold the cobra pose as long as you feel comfortable. However, if it is kind of a little bit more than you can handle, go ahead and retreat back to the Sphinx. The important thing is we want to get about 15 to 20 seconds of extension at this point in the routine. The next thing we're going to do is we're going to come up onto all fours. We're going to do what's called cat and cow. We're going to arch our belly, arch our lower back, pushing our belly down to the ground. And then we're going to really arch our lower back. Here we go. Look up. And then we're going to flex our head, putting an arch in our lower back. Good. Drop the belly, extend the head, raise the belly, flex the head. Extend the head, drop the belly, drop the head, raise the belly. Back and forth. Good. Breathe out when dropping the belly. Breathe in when raising the chest. Breathe out. Next thing we're going to do is we're going to go into a prayer stretch. Fairly self-explanatory here. We're just going to try to sit back onto our heels. This is a great time to pull out a little bit of extra padding on those knees for sure. Just going to grab my towel here. We'll get back into our prayer stretch. The goal with the prayer stretch is just to kind of sit back onto our heels and see if we can drop our forehead down to the mat. You're going to feel this in your upper back, but you're really going to feel it in your lower back for sure. Deep breaths. Just relax into the position. We're going to go ahead and use our right hand to pull our left wrist off to the right side of the mat. When we do this, we're going to feel it a little bit more along the back of our shoulder and into our lower trapezius. Just going to drive that left shoulder into the mat as we continue sitting back into our prayer stretch. We're going to do the same thing on the right side, using that left hand to push away from our body while simultaneously driving our right shoulder into the mat. Really going to feel this on the back of your shoulders and into your lower lats. Good. We're going to come up onto all fours again. We're going to move into what are called thoracic rotations. We're going to start with our left side, raising our left arm up in the air, really twisting and opening our chest, collapsing, running that left arm through the opening, and and relaxing with a good twist in our lower back. Again, we reach up for about a 3-second hold. Really try to extend back, take a big deep breath in, and then breathe out. And bring that arm through the hole, relaxing down onto the mat, feeling the stretch in your lower back. Let's do one more. Reach up, deep breath, really open that chest up. And we're going to bring it back through, laying down onto the mat. And what we do on the left, we're going to do on the right as well. So we're going to reach up. And then bring that arm back through. You can see here you're kind of laying right on that right shoulder, letting your body weight do the stretch. Reach up, take a big deep breath in. Really try to reach back and open up that chest. Take a couple breaths here. Feel that deep stretch. And let's do one more. Reach to the sky. Deep breath. Feel that stretch. And then bring it down through. Try to put as much twist as you can in your upper and mid back. Letting your body weight do the stretch. I'm going to come up onto all fours again and move into downward dog. And when I'm in downward dog, one of the things I like to do is I like to just pedal my feet out a little bit, kind of focusing in on the calves, just back and forth. Give that a try if you'd like. Keeping those calves loose can really help reduce things like foot pain. Feel that downward dog stretching into our hamstrings. And then we'll move into a deep lunge. Try to keep your right knee over your right ankle. Leaning forward, you should feel this stretch on the front of your left thigh. For many of you, this is all it'll take, but go ahead and try doing a little bit of extension if you can. Feeling that stretch again, opening up that left thigh, really hitting those hip flexors. If you feel like you can do it, reach towards the sky, sink in, really lunge forward, get a good stretch on those left hip flexors. Hip flexors are tight on almost everybody. They get tight from us sitting so much. Now we're going to lean back. We're going to sit back onto our heel a little bit, straighten that right leg, and feel the right hamstring stretch. Many of you have very tight hamstrings. You may not be able to get down even this far. You might only be able to come to your knee. But ultimately, we want to try to put our chin on our chest and reach out towards our right foot, feeling that hamstring stretch in that right leg. Good. What we do on the right, we'll do on the left as well. So we're going to go ahead and stick that left leg out. We're going to start leaning forward. Again, this stretch is intended to really hit your hip flexors on your right side. We're going to lean backwards a little bit just to put some extra stretch on. As we go ahead and try to sink forward as much as we can. Now I do notice on me, my right hip flexors are notably tighter than my left. So that's something to pay attention to. Raise the arms up if you feel like you can do it. Get a little of extension. Really opening that right hip flexor. Good. We're going to go ahead and sit back onto our right heel just a little bit, straightening that left leg, feeling the hamstring stretch. Ultimately, we want to get our chin as close to our knee as we can, reaching for our foot, our left foot. If you feel a little unsteady, don't worry about it. Just balance yourself. It's fine. But this stretch should really be felt in the left calf and the back of the left leg. Go as far as you can. This is a tough one. Good. And we're going to finish off our routine here by standing. We're going to do some standing extensions. We're going to put our hands on our hip. We're going to lean back. Good. Coming to neutral and leaning back again. 2. Back to neutral and leaning back. Good. This is an excellent exercise to do throughout the day, especially when you've been seated a lot. Maybe every hour or 2 hours, get up and do some of these standing extensions. We're going to do about 10 of them. Good. Just doing these throughout the day can reduce your back pain significantly. Excellent. Once we get to number 10, we're just going to hold number 10 for 15 to 30 seconds in extension. Great job. Stand upright and thank yourself. You just took 20 minutes of your time for some self-care.